What? If I told you there's a story of warriors far beyond anything you've ever imagined? A tale not just of power, but of purpose, spirit, and divine calling. This is the history of the Corral Saiyans and their sacred world, Saiyan. Before the clocks of the universe began to tick, the Most High Yahweh brought forth a world unlike any other. He called it Zion. This wasn't just another planet scattered among the stars. There's a divine training ground, forged with purpose, discipline, and a perfect sacred balance. Zion was created for a chosen people, a nation of warriors destined to carry His laws, His wisdom, and His very spirit into creation. These chosen people came to be known as the Corral Saiyans, but they weren't warriors in the way you might think. Their strength wasn't just in their fists or their fighting techniques. Their true power was woven into their very lifestyle. Life built on the solid rock of biblical principles. They lived and breathed the disciplines of the Torah. Their entire society was a reflection of a Hebraic way of life. Guided by divine laws, judgment, justice, and righteousness weren't just abstract ideas. They were the pillars of their community. The concepts of unity, family, and covenant were the unbreakable bonds that held their nation together. Their culture wasn't shaped by fleeting earthly traditions or the changing whims of society. No, their entire way of life, from the way they raised their children to the way they governed their cities, was rooted in the eternal instructions given to them by Yahweh. They were warriors of the spirit first and fighters second. This foundational truth is what set them apart from all others. So, what was the source of their incredible strength? It wasn't magic. It wasn't some random chaotic energy. The power of the Corral Saiyans flowed from a source far deeper, far more profound. It was the Ruach. In the ancient Hebrew tongue, Ruach means spirit, breath, and divine energy. This was the very breath of Yahweh, a spiritual energy gifted to them, connecting them directly to their Creator. Through the Ruach, they could achieve extraordinary things. Their senses were heightened to a supernatural degree, allowing them to perceive things others couldn't. Their bodies were strengthened, fortified not just for battle, but for a life of service and discipline. The Ruach was their shield, enabling them to protect their families and their nation with unwavering resolve. It gave them the gift of discernment, the ability to see through deception and recognize the truth in a world filled with lies. It was a source of healing, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually restoring them from the inside out. Perhaps most famously, the Ruach was the key to unlocking their legendary transformations. These weren't triggered by rage or a lust for power. Instead, their transformations were directly tied to their obedience and the purity of their hearts. The stronger their relationship with Yahuwah, the more their hearts aligned with His will, the more powerful their connection to the Ruach became. CC. The greatest warriors among the Corral Saiyans weren't necessarily the best fighters. They were the most righteous men and women, those who walked faithfully in covenant with the Most High. Their power was a reflection of their righteousness. The identity of the Corral Saiyans was a beautiful and powerful fusion. Imagine combining the profound wisdom of the ancient Hebrews with the unbreakable resilience of the Afro-American experience, all crowned with a divine, God-given identity. That was the essence of the Corral Saiyans. Their culture was a vibrant tapestry woven with many threads. You could feel the rhythm and soul of the Afro-American journey in their music, their art, and their spirit of endurance. You could see the covenant laws of ancient Israel and their social structures and their system of justice. Their movements, their martial arts, their very posture radiated the discipline of elite warriors. The strength they possessed wasn't for showing off. It was rooted in the words of Scripture, in the promises and commands of the Most High. They carried the endurance of a people who had faced and overcome immense oppression, turning trials into strength. It was common to see their leaders, their generals, quoting verses from the Torah right before charging into battle, grounding their actions in divine authority. Their teachers didn't just lecture children. They taught Hebraic values through dynamic movement, through martial forms that built character, and through deep spiritual conditioning that prepared them for a life of purpose. Their community was a fortress built on pillars of respect, order, and true brotherhood and sisterhood. Everything revolved around obedience to Yahweh, protecting the weak, and exercising great strength with even greater humility. Now, let's talk about their home world, Zion. This planet was a masterpiece of divine engineering, a world that was alive in a way no other could be. Zion flowed with abundant energy fields, both spiritual and natural, creating an environment that nurtured the body and soul. Vast forests with a unique blue tint covered the landscape, each leaf and branch resonating with the frequency of the Ruach. The mountains weren't just rock and stone. They were infused with divine minerals that pulsed with a gentle energy. Across the planet, you would find sacred training grounds, some carved into the very mountainsides by legendary prophet warriors from ages past. And at the heart of their cities stood magnificent temples, all dedicated to the sacred name of Yahweh. The very atmosphere of Zion carried a special frequency, a vibration that was perfectly aligned with the heartbeat of the Most High. It was a world that sang His praise. But this incredible energy wasn't just free for anyone to take. Only those who lived in covenant with Yahweh, those whose hearts were tuned to His frequency, could fully tap into the immense power that Zion offered. For the Corral Saiyans, their planet wasn't just a place to live. It was a partner in their divine mission, a source of strength, and a constant reminder of their connection to their Creator. So, what was the ultimate purpose of the Corral Saiyans? Why were they created with such power and such a unique destiny? Their mission was clear, noble, and of the utmost importance. They were created to be guardians of truth in a universe often shrouded in lies. They were spiritual warriors, trained to fight battles not just on the physical plane, but in the spiritual realms as well. Their primary duty was to be protectors of Yahweh's law, ensuring that His righteous standards were upheld and honored. They were teachers of righteous discipline, showing others the path to true strength through obedience and self-control. And they were defenders, standing as a bulwark against the creeping forces of corruption and spiritual darkness that sought to poison creation. 2. It's crucial to understand that the Corral Saiyans were not conquerors. They never fought for personal glory, for empire, or for domination. Their battles were waged for a higher cause, for divine order, for true justice, and for the spiritual balance of the universe. They were the righteous right hand of the Most High, a nation of warriors whose strength was matched only by their humility and their unwavering faith. This is the foundation of their story, the beginning of a legacy built on faith, power, and purpose. The history of the Corral Saiyans is a testament to what is possible when a people dedicates themselves completely to the Most High. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the heart of Zion. If this story resonates with you, make sure to like, subscribe, and follow for more. Till next time, stay strong and walk in truth.